He threw the cards into the air and shouted, "Sacrifice the lives of the entire elf tribe. All obey my orders." As he said this, the weather turned severe, and a storm-like atmosphere enveloped the world tree. The entire elf village began to shake. The elves inside their houses wondered, "Is there an earthquake?" Suddenly, their faces turned pale and sickly, and a green light started emanating from their mouths, moving toward the world tree. The souls of the elf tribe, along with all the living animals, were sacrificed and entered the world tree. Upon seeing this, Burrs was greatly surprised, wondering how the Joker could use holy cards to sacrifice the elf tribe. After sacrificing the entire elf tribe, the Joker began gathering all the souls and activating the card, which started absorbing them. The Joker laughed maniacally as the card finished absorbing the souls. Burrs was shocked. The cards were now fully energized. The Joker summoned all the cards, and various creatures began to appear, including the monster they had seen before. Burrs, angry and blaming himself, thought, "Damn it, it's all my fault. This world is going to end." Meanwhile, at Leping's house, Elizabeth told Leping that while she was cleaning up the space earlier, she discovered that she had forgotten to take out the bowl for eating noodles last time. "Let's wash it together with the ones you've left for the past 2 days," she suggested. However, there was a purple parasite-like creature in the bowl that Elizabeth had told Leping to wash. The parasite-like creature started approaching Leping, who was discussing something with her. It slowly moved towards Leping to attack him. The parasite-like creature got very close to Leping and was about to strike. But before it could, the cleaner robot that Leping had created killed the parasite-like creature. The robot said, "Cleaning in progress, please pay attention." Leping apologized to the cleaner robot. Upon seeing this, I remembered a comment someone made on one of my Hero X Demon Queen videos. They said, "The dark dimension is the hero's toilet, where all kinds of foul demons come from his epic poops." Maybe it was possible. Anyway, let's get back to our story. Leping sat close to Elizabeth and told her that he wanted her to come with him to the elf tribe. Elizabeth, upon hearing this, asked if he had decided to conquer them next. Leping clarified that it wasn't about conquering but persuading. He had heard from Annie that Uncle Burrs had also set off there, and since Elif had elven blood, they could use these personal connections to possibly persuade the elves to join them and form an alliance against the Dark Guild. Elizabeth mentioned that she knew the top leaders of the elves. If they couldn't reach an agreement, Leping suggested she put in a good word. Although Elizabeth said she wouldn't intervene directly, she thought using her reputation wouldn't hurt. After hearing this, Elizabeth remembered an elf in her ministry, the leader of the elf tribe during her time as the ruler of the Hero continent. Given the elves' lifespan of 500 years, she should still be alive. Elizabeth agreed with Leping's suggestion but demanded he bring her some jelly. Leping happily agreed, saying, "No problem, it's best if you're willing." However, Elizabeth asked Leping about the ones outside and how he planned to arrange them. Leping replied that they had just said they wanted to play with Wang Kai. Meanwhile, outside, Holy Sword Alpha, little girl Annie, and Sword Saint were sitting around Wang Kai, the robot dog. President of the Sword Saint Guild Saugus Shishai told them, "In fact, with my joining, you no longer need to wade through this muddy water." Leader of the Beast Gang Jim Jian told Sword Saint, "I think you still don't know Brother Leping's plan." Holy Sword Alpha said to both of them, "Whether you two are done or not, you're just supporting characters compared to me, okay?" Upon hearing this, Sword Saint showed them the Tai Chi sword book, saying, "I see clearly now. This is the sword manual given to me by the Brave Lord and the Demon King. Once I master it, I'll wipe out the Dark Guild for both of you. You won't be needed at all." However, little girl Annie also chimed in, saying she had a rag doll made by Brother Leping, which she couldn't use yet, but she would become stronger soon. Holy Sword Alpha laughed at the two of them and said, "You actually started a relationship with Brother Leping in front of me. Let's not talk about the close contact chopping firewood I've had with Brother Leping for the past 500 years. Isn't what Brother Leping sent out just discarded garbage? What do you have to show off? Brother Leping has only one younger brother, and that is me, Alpha, the destined sword of the brave. You all should get out of here." Upon hearing this, little girl Annie was surprised and said, "If what you say is true, then no one can compare with you. After all, Brother Leping's exclusive weapon." But Sword Saint disagreed and told Annie, "Don't listen to him. How can the sword and weapon spirit of the brave be invaded by resentment so easily? Moreover, I've seen a lot of weapons. In him, I don't see anything like the forging style of a brave man like Senior Wang Kai." Holy Sword Alpha smiled and said, "You have some ability, but I was indeed not forged by Brother Leping himself before. I fell into confusion and self-doubt, which led to the invasion of resentment. However, Brother Leping reforged me to resurrect me. So, I have now become a regular and officially a super magic weapon produced by the brave true Holy Sword Alpha." Upon hearing this, little girl Annie asked, "Wang Kai, is what he said true?" Wang Kai replied, "I don't know if this should count, because when Holy Sword Alpha split into two." Leping was really worried. He tried to fix Holy Sword Alpha with his hammer, but the situation got worse. So, to repair Holy Sword Alpha, he used super glue 502 that he got from the system. With the help of the glue, he managed to fix Holy Sword Alpha. Wang Kai told them, "The master used a very powerful invention to resurrect him. I even dug out the leftovers from the trash can and put them in my pocket." Holy Sword Alpha showed them the fixed mark, saying, "This is Brother Leping's forging trace." Sword Saint angrily replied, "It's useless to talk more. Since only one person can handle things for the brave lord and the demon king, let's let our strength speak for itself. Thanks to the dual opportunities from the brave lord and the demon king, I have already broken through to the demon king level, so this position must be mine." Little girl Annie agreed with Sword Saint, saying, "Although my strength is far inferior to Master Sword Saint, I will try my best to fight and fulfill the responsibilities given to me by Brother Leping. I have to use the power of Raphael, my only weapon at the moment, to defeat her." Holy Sword Alpha got angry and said, "What do you mean when you two locked eyes with each other privately? Are you taking my true Holy Sword Alpha seriously? Damn it." Upon hearing this, both Annie and Sword Saint got angry and prepared to fight Holy Sword Alpha. However, Wang Kai intervened. He stopped them and said, "Listen to me." Holy Sword Alpha quickly stood in front of Wang Kai, asking for instructions. Wang Kai told them, "I'm not informing you of this meeting to determine who is better or worse." Annie questioned, "Wang Kai, didn't you say that having so many people would disturb Brother Leping's life?" Sword Saint agreed, saying, "Doesn't this mean that we can only keep one?" Wang Kai responded, "Don't disturb the Master's life is indeed the reason I secretly summoned you to this meeting, but I just want to emphasize my identity to you. For example, I am my owner's accompanying pet, so I can never do anything beyond my duty in front of my owner. But outside, where the Master doesn't go often, I can command the monsters in the entire Warcraft plains and have them isolate all intruders who might harass the Master. However, since the fierce woman arrived, the Master has been avoiding going out. I can't go to those places myself. By the way, the Master hasn't touched me for a long time." Surprised, Sword Saint asked, "Wang Kai, what should our identities be? Please clarify." Wang Kai said, "Well, I'm going too far. What I mean is that if the Master wants to experience life, he will inevitably meet all kinds of people outside, which can disrupt his desire to live peacefully. If you are selected, then serve the Master outside from me. Act with the concept of a quiet life as the premise. Clear all obstacles for the Master so that he can enjoy his life without worries. From now on, your identity is cleaners. When the Master wants to walk outside, ensure there are no obstacles and provide a smooth path. As for the benefits of serving the Master, you all understand them deeply, so I don't need to elaborate. However, remember that you can take what the master gives you, but you cannot take what the master has not given. Don't overstep your bounds, understand? Only I have the right to dig through the trash to make money. Everyone agreed and nodded their heads. Suddenly, the door of Leping's house opened. Wang Kai told everyone, "The master has come out. Everyone, get in your places." Leping opened the door and asked, "What are you all doing?" They all responded cheerfully, "Just talking." Little girl Annie asked Leping, "Are you going to the elf tribe?" Leping said, "Yes, but before that, I need to go to the workshop to get some tools. Then we can set off." As Leping left to get tools from the workshop, Elizabeth approached them and thought, "The town of Boston in the east is represented by Jim Jiani, and the Juggernaut Guild in the west is represented by Saugus Yishai. They have all been taken under Leping's wing. So, after taking down the elf tribe in the south, this time, the next step is the kingdom of Aristotle in the north. He is establishing his own forces bit by bit, forming the 4 heavenly kings of the east, south, west, and north who are loyal to him. Ha! The classic technique of controlling people and ruling. The first time she went out to meet the descendants of Jim Jai, and then, 500 years ago in the outside world, she arranged her weapon spirit in advance to wait for the right opportunity. Today, she guided the president of the Sword Saint Guild into the game. The same goes for the father and daughter who are related to the elf tribe. When she thought about it, all the clues connected. How could there be so many coincidences? In fact, everything was planned in advance by you, Leping. Although you hide it well, I can see through you at a glance. He always pretends to be ignorant, but in reality, he is very shrewd and has already made a complete plan for his own domination of the world. So, is it possible that even this king is part of your plan? She thought. The 3 of them were really nervous seeing Elizabeth in front of them, thinking, "What does this woman mean by staring at us? I can't see through the Demon King's thoughts at all." Annie wondered, "Does Sister Elizabeth think I'm not qualified enough? What should I do?" They were so scared that they looked to Wang Kai for help. Wang Kai stepped forward and told them not to worry. "I will do it." He approached Elizabeth and started preparing something from his storage, thinking, "In order to deal with you, a moody and fierce woman, I will use my latest research." The 3 of them started cheering for Wang Kai, saying, "The battle between strong opponents is a rare learning opportunity. You can do it." Suddenly, Wang Kai took out a tease stick from his back and started rolling on the ground, behaving like a cute puppy, thinking, as the saying goes, "Don't hit the smiling dog." However, he was wrong. Elizabeth didn't care about such things. She kicked Wang Kai so hard that he collided with the wall. Elizabeth told them, "I was getting more and more angry as I thought about it. But this stupid dog came out and went crazy. Do you want to make fun of it too?" Everyone fell silent, not knowing what to do. Elizabeth told them, "Since you are all part of Leping's plan, I will not say anything more according to the agreement. But I give you a final reminder, stay with us and be prepared to throw away your life at any time. Although you have all experienced it yourselves, you may not be so lucky next time. You have to solve everything you encounter in the future by yourselves. Don't expect me or him to come to your rescue." Everyone understood, saying, "Everything is subject to the arrangement of the devil." Meanwhile, Leping came out of the warehouse and asked Elizabeth, "What are you talking about? I'm ready. We can go now." Leping chose a chainsaw as his new weapon. Elizabeth said, "Nothing," and then asked him, "Let's go." "But what did you do? Something weird?" Leping explained, "Doesn't Alpha want to return to his duties as a holy sword? So for future wood chopping, I made a new tool. I originally wanted to make an axe, but as I was working on it, I upgraded and made a chainsaw. By the way, Elizabeth, it will be much more convenient after you add space magic name a .com quote to my backpack." Sure enough, in a different world, magic is king. Upon hearing this, Elizabeth thought, "After I was promoted to the 7-star demon god, the magic I use can finally have an effect on his forged objects." This is also the effect of the ring that he calculated. Holy Sword Alpha, upon seeing Leping's new weapon, got scared. He saw a weapon spirit and realized she was the same one who took control over him. Little girl Annie noticed and said, "She is a weapon spirit, but I feel that Brother Leping's forging of her body is much more complicated than that of Alpha, right?" Holy Sword Alpha angrily told Annie, "What do you know? The more complicated, the better. Moreover, Brother Leping seems to be able to see only me and not the weapon spirit he created. This is my greatest advantage." Leping was excited because he heard there were many magical plants in the elf tribe. If Uncle Tobers had a relationship with Elizabeth, he might be able to bring a few back and plant them in his field. Excitedly, he told Elizabeth, "Everyone is ready, let's set off." But before they could leave, Elizabeth asked Leping, "Didn't you say that you would only take 2 people with you this time? Which 2? Leping agreed, saying, "Yes, because the purpose of going to the elf tribe this time is to convince them." Sword Saint approached Leping, saying, "Lord Brave, please take me there. I have been to the elf tribe several times before, and I also know their current clan leader. I can definitely help." Annie also wanted to go with Leping, begging, "Please let me go too. Although I have no experience, my red demon eyes have awakened, and I can definitely help." Holy Sword Alpha stepped forward heroically, pushing them both aside, saying, "Enough. Anyway, there are 2 places. No matter what, one of them must belong to me. As the exclusive weapon of the brave, I must stay with him at all times." However, Leping stopped Holy Sword Alpha, telling him, "The purpose of going to the elven tribe this time is to persuade them to form an alliance. To show our friendship, I'm not bringing any weapons with me, so I've decided to bring Sword Saint and Annie instead." After that, Elizabeth opened the portal to travel to the elf tribe. Leping told Alpha, "Just stay here and wait for our return." Disappointed, Holy Sword Alpha wondered, "Why do I feel like this again? Like an outsider, excluded, unable to integrate into Brother Leping's circle. Is my Alpha too weak? No, hasn't Brother Leping already reforged me? Why? Suddenly, something started calling Alpha's name, asking him to please reply. Confused, Holy Sword Alpha asked, "Who is calling me?" Wang Kai intervened, asking Holy Sword Alpha, "Did you learn from me the way of survival?" Seeing Wang Kai, Holy Sword Alpha realized, "I understand. Brother Leping left the most precious opportunity for me. Yes, how can going out for adventure compare to studying in depth with Senior Wang Kai here? After all, this is our base camp." Wang Kai asked Holy Sword Alpha to go on patrol with him, and Holy Sword Alpha agreed. Suddenly, a notification popped up again saying, "Connection lost. Call failed." On the other hand, Leping and the others successfully reached the elf tribe. Excited, Leping asked, "Elizabeth, look, that tree is enormous, right?" However, Elizabeth noticed something suspicious, thinking, such a huge elven tribe actually has no breath of life. Leping, unaware of what was going on, asked Elizabeth, "How do you think this huge tree grows? Let's go in and have a look." But before going in, Elizabeth decided to change her and Sword Saint's clothes first. When Elizabeth suddenly removed Sword Saint's clothes, she got really embarrassed. Upon hearing this, Leping wondered what she meant. As he turned his head, it was already too late. Sword Saint had already changed clothes. Leping was just 1 second too late to see something he referred to as beautiful big juicy melons. Elizabeth told Leping, "The king wants to change into a suit suitable for traveling. As for others, they are strictly prohibited from wearing clothes made by him. Otherwise, everything will be meaningless." Surprised, Leping thought, "Strange setting, but you are the devil and you have the final say. Moreover, I have to sigh again. It is so convenient to change the magic costume." He asked Elizabeth if they could leave now. Elizabeth asked Leping why he was so anxious. Leping disagreed with her, saying he just wanted to study the plants there. Meanwhile, and I watched them. The Joker, who had captured Bria and Alif, was observing Leping and Elizabeth from his room. He thought, the representative of the brave alliance formed by the Sword Master Guild was captured by me within only 3 days. The Sword Master Saugus Zhizhai, who had been missing for many days, actually showed up. With so much attention, it seems they have made up their minds this time. The war between the United Army and the Dark Guild is about to break out. As for the other 3 people around her, he didn't know who they were. So, to find information about them, he checked the memories of Burrs and Alif. He saw in their memories that Burrs and Alif were enjoying their time with Leping and Elizabeth. He was really surprised to see this. However, when he saw Elizabeth's true form in Burrs and Alif's memory, he became furious, thinking, "It's been 500 years. I didn't expect you to appear here." But seeing Elizabeth happy with Leping, he wondered, "This posture is not like the arrogant you once were." So he commanded Blanchett, the general of the tribe, "Go and disperse them for me. Use all means to kill them, but leave that man alive for me. Do you understand?" Blanchett replied, "Got it. I'll do it right away." Meanwhile, Sword Saint and Annie defeated all the plant monsters. However, Sword Saint wondered, "According to my past experience, if you come here for the first time, you can get permission to enter after destroying all the trial plants. But why hasn't the 5 elements P appeared at the last level?" Little girl Annie, seeing Sword Saint deep in thought, mused, "Master Juggernaut is indeed very experienced and has been of great help to Brother Leping when he comes out to play. I can't lose. I must strive for performance in the future." Leping asked Sword Saint, "By the way, Miss Zhuzhui, what guild did you create? You are so knowledgeable and as skilled in swordsmanship as the Sword Saint Guild." Sword Saint replied, "I haven't told you yet, but I am a sword master." Suddenly, someone shot arrows towards them. Sword Saint deflected them without any problem. Little girl Annie used her unique skill to find the enemy's location. After locating the enemy, Annie said, "I can see it's a sneak attacker using concealment magic. Leave it to me to deal with." But Sword Saint said, "It's just a little trick. You don't need to bother yourself." She then used Tai Chi, the first style, Dragonfly touches the water, to find the enemy's location. Surprised, Blanchett thought, "Using the sword to dispel my concealment effect? This is indeed the strongest strength of the human race."